kisses and hugs.
The woman forget to pamper, she forget pet the woman. Now watch no step, she delicate woman. Forget tights and respect one. Mother, sister, then let me tell you vital part and be biology. If she never open and let them baby would be. When she all a proud city on me history. To the children know that could never be who you think nurture, pamper and care for me. To the long arc series of maternity, none of the woman forget pamper, she forget the woman. Now watch those steps, she delicate a woman. Forget tights and respect one. Mother, sister, darling.
You're moving graciously, loving you kiss me is so stress-free.
Oh, yeah,
you are a source of strength, Miss Magnificent, positive thinker.
Woman of the master race.
Oh my Madonna, modern day masterpiece. So, wish you the best life filled with happiness. From Sir with love, yeah. This for your queen, go on, fulfill your dreams. More kisses and hugs.
Yeah. Then when you are going on with your girl chat, you mad, couldn't be referring now to me Princess Black. Well, if you now come out of the poopy back, that might cause if negativity, you would hold it back. Cause there's no other like the female gender. No amount of sex change can replace your mother. You might tend to differ as you go older, but the breast was best and still is me brother. The woman forget pamper, she forget pet the woman. Now watch those steps, she delicate a woman. Forget tights and respect one. Mother, sister, darling. Coulda never come disrespect my queen, you know. No, you better come clean. Silver, come bounce it so.
Wish you the best life filled with happiness. From Sir with love, yeah. Before your queen go on, fulfill your dreams. More kisses and hugs, yeah. Wish you the best life filled with happiness. From Sir with love, yeah. Before your queen go on, fulfill your dreams. More kisses and hugs, yeah.
Woman forget pamper, she forget better woman. After no step, she delicate a woman, you know. Forget tights and respect one. Mother, sister, than the woman. Yeah, the woman, you know. Need some respect, security for surety. More of that from you and me, you know. She a celebrity, the woman. Pamper, she forget to pet the woman. Hey, watch those steps, she delicate the woman, you know. Forget tights and respect one. Me mother, sister, the let the woman.
Clean hands and clean heart. I used to see the face of the master. Wanna remember. Hear me now. I'll try that one more time. Me say them heart no clean. Them bad mind. It easy if you know, cause there is always a sign. But life a fig one. Round them, it a fig one. My friend, them heart no clean. Them bad mind. It easy if you know, cause there is always a sign. But life a fig one. Round them, it a fig one. My friend. Just be careful when you're touching on the street, because the vultures them hungry and a look meat for eat. Be careful when you're rolling on the street, because the shot of them not even a pure shot of beat. And them a get casket and breathe. But me a big master, God no give them no chance to eat. Cause the youth them off for school, and mama off for eat. And the mission when me dip and round and not complete. Them heart no clean, them bad mind. It easy if you know, cause there is always a sign. But life a fig one, round them, it a fig one. My friend, them heart no clean. Them bad mind, it easy if you know, cause there is always a sign. But life a fig one, round them. Hey, well me say Bonnie and Bobo, them a brother. Hey, Bonnie work hard, but Bobo.
Yes, indeed. Morning once again, my listeners. Welcome to another Real Stuff podcast. And this is Franco along with Flavius in Jamaica this morning. Flavius, can you hear me? Morning, Flavius.
Yes, I'm hearing it loud and clear.
Okay.
Morning, listeners. Morning. Top of the morning to you all. Hello?
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, good morning, listeners. We have a bright sunshine in Jamaica, and I must say a shout out to everybody in Jamaica as we have opened up our borders and we are trying to cope with what is to come. They are putting in the strict rules of what we should do, and hopefully that will help, We are seeing new cases of COVID coming in on the flights, but they are checked at the airport. So I hope that can work, that can mitigate whatever problems that we might have. But folks, I am saying to you, be more careful now than before, because more people are on the road, more people are in the shops and workplace and all that. So we have to follow the protocol of the social distancing. That seems to be the only thing that really works. So let me go into, did you know this morning? And we have done it.
Hey, Flavius, you're going in and out, You hear me, Flavius? Let me just give you some background music till we can hear Flavius loud and clear.
Rohan Beckford.
Yeah, I'm hearing you back again.
Okay. All right, let's do a quick thing here now. We are looking at the player with the most wickets in their career for the West Indies in Test matches. And we are going to start somewhere down the bottom here and go back up. Where we have Wes Hall.
We're having some technical difficulties with Flavius this morning. So until we can Are you back with us, Flavius?
Music.
Huh?
Okay. I can correct it.
All right, let me just play some music in the meantime. So do your corrections.
I can go ahead again.
Yes. So we have Flavius once again on the line. Everything okay?
Yeah, man, hopefully.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, we're going to start back at West Hall. And he took 192 wickets at an average of 26.38. Then we move up one notch to a newcomer, leading bowler into today's West Indies team, Kemar Roach. He bowled 10,020 balls, and he took 193 wickets. And then we move to Andy Roberts, 11,135, and he took 203 wickets. Sir Garfield Sobers, 21,599 balls, and he took 235 wickets. Michael Holden, just before Sobers, 12,680 balls, and he took 249 wickets. Joel Garner, the big bird, 13,169 balls he bowled in Test cricket, and he took 259 wickets. Lance Gibbs, the oldest spinner named so far, 27,115 balls, and he took 309 wickets. Malcolm Marshall, one of the best we have ever had, 17,584 balls, and he took 376 wickets. Courtney Ambrose, of the pair Ambrose and Walsh, 22,103 balls, and he took 405 wickets. And on the top, Courtney Walsh, 30,019 balls, and he took 519 wickets. So we, Walsh, Ambrose, Marshall, Gibbs, Garner, Holden, Sobers, Roberts, Roach, all. Those are at the top of the bowlers for the Caribbean. If we look at the batting average, the top four batting average, highest batting average. Number 4 is Clyde Walcott, average of 56.68. Third is Sir Garfield Sobers. So Sobers appear on both lists, 57.78. Everton Weeks, 58.61. And the great George Atlas Headley, 60.83. And if you look at the batting average, all of these guys are from the old days. Sobers being the youngest one, I would think here. Don't see the young boys showed up in the batting average at the top at all. So that is it for Did You Know? So it's cricket, batting, and bowling average for the West Indies. How well our players have done over time. Take it away, Franco.
Oh baby, ooh, oh darling, you never know when you fall in love. Just so long love will last. No, you keep on hoping it all works out for the best. This morning I woke My love was gone with no goodbye. No, I sat there wondering where I went wrong. Then I cried. Bring back the sunshine. I'm getting tired of all this rain all the time coming down. Bring back the sunshine. Bring back the days when you were mine, oh mine, surely mine. Once I found me a special girl. She made the clouds all disappear. But I took her loving for granted. Now here comes the tears. Here comes the tears. Bring back the sunshine. I'm getting tired of all this rain all the time coming down. Bring back the sunshine. Bring back the days when you were mine, oh mine. Bring back the days when you were mine. Bring back the days when you were mine. Ooh, oh baby. Ooh, oh darling. You never know when you fall in love. Just so long love would last. No, you keep on hoping it all works out for the best. This morning I woke up too fast. My love was gone with no goodbye. No, I sat there wondering where I went wrong. Then I cried. Bring back the sunshine.
The music of Patrick Billings. Bring back the sunshine. That's what we want to see. This morning, we have two guests, two very, very special guests this morning. We have Miss Cornetta Murray, and those of you who have been following us heard Cornetta before. So, without further ado, let me bring in Cornetta Murray, and she's going to talk to us about a couple of things this morning that we are very interested in, because the other day I made an announcement, and I think Cornetta can clear it up for me this morning. Morning, Cornetta. How are you doing?
Good morning. Good morning. How are you guys doing? Oh my God, it's
I'm great. I'm great.
Nice to be back.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're
Glad
back.
to have you back. Good to have you back.
I didn't get that. I didn't hear you.
Flavor.
So we are very happy to have you back.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you.
So, what is it? What is going on now in your state? Schoolers back to school, but no more. They're out now on what? Vacation? Summer vacation?
No, in my state, we're just in phase one. The schools will not be open up back for us to go inside the building. The last day of school for students and for teachers is June 26th. For me, is the 28th. So right now we're still doing virtual learning. Yeah, and we're winding down, doing virtual graduations. You know, I am actually attending a virtual graduation with another institute that I work with. This evening at 5.
Okay.
Because I'm also a professor in a college as well. So pretty much everything is winding down, and we're just writing it out.
Yeah.
The course.
That's,
You know, and playing it as we go along.
Okay.
A lot of students have lost out on what they started in the beginning of the year, but when you get lemon, you make lemonade, and I think that's what everyone has been doing, making lemonade with what has been happening.
Yeah, I can imagine that, especially those who were planning to have a bang graduation.
Yeah.
Everything is now virtual. So, how are the parents getting along as well? Because I know some of the parents are what you call it, parents who are on the front line as well. How is that part going?
Well, for some part, some of the parents are frustrated because they're realizing that teaching is not as easy as it seems. For when the students come home and complain that the teacher might have giving them a bad grade or yelled at them for not doing their homework, they're realizing that the work is hard. And I think a newfound perspective, as I mentioned the last time, I mentioned that a newfound respect is placed on teachers as well as students, because they realize that it's stressful when you get a lot of work and you don't know which one to complete first. Okay. And for the parents, the way we did math when we were going to school, 1 + 1, it's not the way that they're doing it now. It's a whole different way that the Common Core has set up things for the students to do with the teachers. And a lot of parents are not hip to how it's being done. So that brings on frustration. And you get frustration when you don't know what you're doing or when you don't truly understand how to do something. Right? And that's what also creates fear.
Okay.
Yeah. So, fear is one of the biggest thing for these parents, because they don't understand. They're believing that their child will fail because they can't help them. Yeah. I actually volunteer my service at a center that supports the first responders, children. And they get a little more support in a sense where they are teachers here that support them, that help them do their work that the teacher provides them virtually. But not every student is fortunate to have that being done.
Okay. What about counseling? Because I know a lot of them are not seeing their parents as they usually see them. They are more now at the job. So how are those children, coping?
In respect to, you're speaking counseling in respect to the students who have mandated counseling, or in respect to having someone to speak to in general?
Someone to speak to in general.
Well, that is very difficult when you're home, unless, but there is many resources out there that they could reach out online for social SEL, social emotional learning, different counseling, teen helpline, mental health helpline, and there's a lot of them that is free now with the COVID.
Oh, I know.
A lot of mental health support is out there for students.
I was talking to a couple students who supposed to, they're scheduled to graduate pretty soon, and they're not too hip for the virtual graduation. So I was telling one that I saw a virtual graduation which I really like. They did it at a race car track. So basically what they did now, they had all of them on Zoom first, and they get the commencement speaker through via Zoom, and then after that now they drive to the racetrack to pick up their diplomas, etc. And that part was fun for them, because they were able to get out to see their friend cross the other side, and they could wave and put on some dancing and do some stuff, So it's a different side, a different type of graduating, exercise this year than what it are normally accustomed to. So
they also have drive-bys. That's another big thing that's been happening.
Drive-by.
Yes. Graduation drive-by.
Exactly. Tell them, say, graduation drive-by.
Are you familiar with the graduation drive-by?
No, I want to hear it go.
Okay, so the graduation drive-by is where, say, the family member come through. It's like a parade.
Okay.
And
Okay.
you notice, like, when there's a funeral, you have a funeral procession where a whole bunch of cars just drive with their headlights on.
Wow.
And so what it is, it's called a graduation drive-by, where the young lady or the young man will dress up in their graduation gown, and they stand outside, and everyone drives by, and they often shower them with gifts and appreciation, for their graduation. It's been a big thing that's been happening lately.
That's good. That's good. I see it for a couple who just celebrated their 50th anniversary, and family members and friends in the neighborhood do that drive-by. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good.
Yes. And so that's another way to bring normalcy to something that doesn't feel normal, right? And so you could plan it, and you could do a Facebook Live while you're doing it, and just to celebrate it so it becomes memorable.
Okay.
Take pictures, and so that's another way that they have been, coping with the, because graduation, especially high school graduation, is a big thing, and you miss out on prom. That's a big. I've never gone to my prom. The last prom I went to was 6th grade. However, I know over the years, I've been to a lot of proms because of the students that I've worked with, and it's a big thing for them. It's very emotional because you spend 4 years or you spend 3 years if you're in middle school with the same person every day, and you're leaving, you're graduating. It's a breakup.
Yeah.
It's an ending. For some of them, it's a beginning because it's the next chapter in their lives, and they're not able to, celebrate it the way they would like to hug, to cry, to say, okay, I appreciate you, congratulations. And so this drive-by is another way to bring normalcy to what would normally, it's not common.
Okay. So it's a participation about friends, family, maybe I want teachers to can drive by as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you could have the teachers, you could have the friends, the family. Honestly, I don't know how it's arranged with the, I would say, law enforcement, but I've seen it. I've not partaken any. I was asked to partake, but at that time I had something to do. But that's what's been happening a lot.
Okay. When it comes to like the keynote speaker at the graduation, that is done virtual too as well?
It's virtual as well.
And
it's virtual.
You'd get every member of the graduating class on Zoom?
Yes, and family members. I was just invited to one. They had a graduation at a major college here, and I was invited. And what they do, like even today, I was sent an email for me to make a 30-second video, just words of encouragement for students who are graduating a particular high school that I work with. And I actually know these students because I was the ones who got them into the high school when I was working in the middle school. And so what they do is like they have videos, they collect videos, and they'll show clips of videos from each teacher. And family members are on it. It's usually on Facebook Live, and we all find on giving a code. And the speaker, the special guest speaker, will make their speech, and then they will call the graduating classes by name.
Okay. Well, I kind of like the one I saw at the racetrack still, They do the Zoom meeting, the Zoom presentation first, and then they drive by to the racetrack and they pick up their diplomas there. So I like that.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah, that's nice.
You have to be creative. As I said, when you get lemons, you make lemonade, right? And so I think everyone in particular, even you have been making some good lemonades with what we've been given. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Flavius and I have been making some real good lemonade. We just tossing it up.
Yes. And add a little ice to it, and it's great. Yes.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Flip.
Cornetta. There was a time when drive-by wasn't such a pleasant word.
Absolutely. It has a negative connotation to it,
Yeah.
right? And with everything and with time, you could put a spin on everything. And I'm a firm believer that in every negative, you could get something positive out of it.
That's true. That's true, because we're getting it out of COVID right now as we speak.
Exactly. Yeah, with every negative, you have to always look at the solution instead of the problem. And if you look at the problem, then it will always keep you down and prevent you from looking at the solution.
True. Which brings me to your positive side now, your positive spin on the GoFundMe. I want you to tell our listeners, because it's for a really good cause, and it's benefiting children as well. So explain it to them for me.
Okay, so I didn't put much information on it because I got the request through the Small Business Association to start a GoFundMe, because to give you a little history, I've had my program since 2009. This vision came to me, and I didn't know how to do it, how to approach it. And I approach many folks with the vision I have, because as a teen mom, I believe that education is vital. But even more as an immigrant child, I believe that education is the utmost key, right? And so for years, I've been reaching out to communities, doing workshops, just educating the community, educating young folks. And I tend to build a relationship with them that they don't want to leave me even when they graduate. Some of them now are in their 30s, and they still reach out for, to be educated on certain things.
True.
And so this GoFundMe, I started it before and I stopped it. My vision came about a school in Jamaica. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Waldorf School.
No, I'm not familiar with it.
Okay, so what the Waldorf School is, it actually allows individuals or children to tap in their own self, pretty much. So it's Waldorf education is also known as Steiner education, right? Where they have like an educational philosophy where you just strive to develop the intellectual part and the artistic, the well-rounded part of every individual.
Okay.
Not just focus, because we have to really come to an understanding that the educational system that we have been surrounded with has been less than productive, to put it in a lighter way. It hasn't been serving, especially people of color. It hasn't been serving us right.
True.
And what happened is that we do not educate ourselves. We believe because we go to school and what we learn in school, that's it. We don't need to learn anything else. I myself was guilty of that at one point. And so I realized through doing these workshops how much I was helping these folks. And being in higher education, seeing how the educational system has failed. One of the things is that if you want to do change, you can't change someone else's system. You only could work on yours, right? And you can't be in a system that is already developed and think that you're going to change it. You just got to work with what is there. And so I decided that I needed to make a difference in the way our minority or our underserved youth were being educated. And I decided that I have to build a school in Jamaica. But even though it's going to be in Jamaica, I've been working behind the scenes for years. I've acquired the land, right?
Good.
So, yeah, I have acquired the title. I know exactly where it's going to be. It's in Manchester. And so I decided I needed some support because I remember Bob Marley has a verse in one of his songs saying, "No man is an island, no man stands alone." And for years I've been trying to do this alone, and only a fool do the same thing over and over and expect a different outcome.
Okay.
And I decided that I'm not going to be a fool anymore. So I decided to put myself out there, which I did with the GoFundMe by trying to raise money to educate these youth. And I'm hoping to use this money to build a school.
Yeah.
Because only through education can we eradicate the ignorance and the injustice that is happening even right now as we speak.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the main purpose that we have so much inequality and injustice is because of lack of education.
Mm-hmm.
The mindset that it's a strong disproportion with how our underserved students and children are being educated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I could speak on that because my children who went to schools that was highly functioning, because I pushed for that. You have a conversation with my son, even, and another individual his age, you will see the difference in the context and the content of how they explain situations and the things that they know. And so through this GoFundMe, it is my hope and aspiration that I will raise enough money to build a school, which will go off of the Waldorf or the Montessori model, because I want to combine the both to just educate and take it across the islands. And I say internationally because students can come from the U.S. and attend. However, I want to make it in a place where I am more familiar with, where I was born, even though I wasn't raised there. And I believe that Jamaicans are some of the most powerful people when educated and know what they're doing. They're powerful when they're not educated. So imagine
For real.
how education could change
For real.
the trajectory of our country.
Absolutely.
And I'm very passionate about it. You know, that is my lifelong passion, is to, before my eyes close, is to see that building go up and kids walk in there from pre-K on up to high school, because when they leave that school, they are able to leave with a college degree as well. And if they're not everyone is meant to go to college. But if they're not familiar or do not want to go to college, they could get a trade. So that's what the GoFundMe is about. It's just trying to acquire some money so I could gain. Because without money, we are actually non-productive.
Yeah, that's true.
You know.
We need the cash to make things flow.
You need the cash. A lot of people who are Christians, they say the love of money, money is the root of all evil. But if they read the Bible correctly, it doesn't say that. It says the love of money is the root of all evil.
Yes,
not,
the love of
you
money.
know, yeah. So it's not that you love. A lot of people love money more than they love themselves.
Oh, yes. You have some guys right now.
They have the money and they hold on to it. But I've never seen a hearse behind, a Brinks behind a hearse. And what good is it to have all the wealth in the world if you're not serving and helping another individual human being in this world?
You never see a rich man money go with him to the burial ground yet.
Exactly, because they will dig you up and throw your body out of the way in a second and just go for the cash.
Oh, yes. The guys them who are burying him, the grave digger, them are going to dig it up right away too. Now, care how much family security you think they're going around this. Even the security that might be involved.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like the idea.
It happens very often.
I like the idea. I like the idea.
Because I am now based in New York, this is where I have to start my base. So I start here by educating people, and people have an idea of who I am, and so they know that, people who know me know where my heart is. And they know my genuineness. And so I start here. I do workshops here. I do workshops in church. I did workshops in the councilman's office. I actually got a proclamation from the councilman with the work I do in my community last year. So it's just to build on what I already started. But the main course of the funding is to build a school that I hope will change the way education is looked at. It is my lifelong goal.
You told me what type of school you wanted to build with the interaction of both mentally challenged students as well as those who are not mentally challenged, right? That's the same thing you have in mind, right?
Yeah, as a social worker by trade, I do believe in the social emotional. I taught for 1 year, and my focus was why you coming to school sleeping? Why you hungry? Why you're not doing your work at night?
Yeah.
My focus was more on the emotional aspect, right? And so as a social worker, building a school, or even right now as I do my workshops and as I do my speaking engagement, if your mind is not settled, if you don't have peace of mind, you're not able to do anything. I don't care how powerful you are, right? Only God could do that. So in order for you to have peace of mind, to be able to think and get educated, you have to understand. You have to do the work, which is, so when I spoke about having social emotional, that is very, very crucial in the school. You know, the kids have to be able to understand. Part of the, as I mentioned to you, I want it to be a school where you have both the blind and the mute in the same building.
Okay.
Because it's like they're a forgotten sect of individual. They're so separated and far gone.
Yeah.
You know, and an individual who are functioning, who have their five senses, who are seeing, who are hearing, need to know that that person doesn't have a contagious disease. And I could care and love that individual just the same. Let me understand how they function as well as they can understand how I function. Yeah. And that's the kind of community I want to have with that school.
I love it.
I want that school to have.
I love it.
Right?
I love it.
I want to incorporate that. Learning disabilities is looked upon as, an individual is slow or retarded. That label should not be used because everyone learns differently. Okay? No two individual is the same. No two individual has the same DNA. So, of course, I'm going to learn differently than you.
Yeah, that's true.
And I should not be judged based on how I'm being learned or understanding what you're teaching me.
Should judge by the content or your character.
Exactly. Right? And so this is my deepest passion, to have a school that will bring that commonality, so we understand we're all one under God, and and I'm going to always speak about my source. I'm not imposing my religious belief on anyone. I'm more of a spiritual individual than more of a religious individual, right? Because, and that's a different topic that I won't even go into right now. However, you know that there is a source. There is someone greater than us. That's why we're here. And through that source is who created all. So if they created all, we all are one. So why do we treat each other separately and differently?
Yeah,
right?
I get you.
And so this school, it is my hope and aspiration that's what I could bring together by having this school. We could start with one and multitude to 1,200, you know. But I'm dying to see where it goes, and that's what the GoFundMe is about. If I get $1, I appreciate it because no one has to give me $1, right?
Every lick can make a $10, one cocoa full of basket. Well,
I used to hear my mother say that all the time, right? And as I get older, I understand, right? I no longer see a penny on the streets and pass it, because those penny, when you pick them up and put it in there, eventually when you change it out, you could get a lot of money for that, right? I've learned that by being around various cultures. I used to be a bank teller, and I remember this lady in particular in the neighborhood that I was a bank teller in. She used to bring in checks that has 2 cents, 3 cents. And I used to look at her, and I look at the check, and then when I put it into the account was over 200,000.
Wow.
Right? But yet this lady, she would bring all the checks. If she got a refund, she'd send in for it. You know, and we as minority, we look at, I go to Jamaica and I see change on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's like, you have to look at things where you can't reach to the top. Or they have a saying, I don't remember the saying now, but you can't stay and cow back and cut cow, something like that. But you can't believe that you could get to the top if you don't start at the bottom.
Absolutely.
Right? And so that is my belief, that I'm going to start out. We're going to start out with pre-K, and then we're going to move ourselves up every year until we get to the high school level. And with God's blessing, hopefully we will be able to even start a college.
Well, you have everything in place so far, because that's your dream, and it's going to become a reality. I can tell you that. And the reason why I say it's going to become a reality, because it's a non-profitable organization, and you're starting something to educate children that are disabled and children who are not disabled as well, because you want them to function as one, so there will be no prejudice, you know. And that's something I think we need to start. You know, children don't know nothing about racism. I've seen it all the time. They don't know if you're white or you're black. They know that they see the skin color, you know, but it has been taught by parents and communities. And for you to set up something like this, I guarantee you it's going to be a major plus for you. Because guess what? Somebody gave me $10 to donate, so I just donated to the cause.
Oh, wow. I appreciate that.
Yeah, so as you said, you know, one Coke full of basket. It doesn't matter if it's $1 you have to give. Go ahead, the GoFundMe, and do your thing, because trust me, it's for a worthy cause, and it's, you know, it's helping children. And that's what's so good about it. Educate to eradicate ignorance. And we all need that, you know, because through education, one can change the world. And there is only one way one can eradicate ignorance, and it is through education. And that is so right.
And I just got to jump on what you just said, because even though the school is for children starting at a young age, because the first 7 years is vital, is what makes you who you become as an individual, what you are taught, what you encounter.
True.
However, when they have passed that age and they're in their adult, that blockage that they have that holds them back, they also need help. And that's also what I'm working on while I'm here in this country. I work on educating the adults as well. So I don't just stop with students. I educate young adults, older adults, because you will only do what you know. And if you don't know any better, you're going to continue doing what you're doing and think it's the right thing to do until you see something and decide. You have to decide within yourself that, listen, this is enough, and something else got to give, right? Something else got to give. It takes one person to make a difference. It took one lady to decide that I'm not going to move off the front from the front of the bus, right? I'm not going to go to the back.
Yeah,
you know?
That's true.
It starts with one.
Yeah, so
it starts with one.
As we say, one Coke full of basket. So if it's $1 you have, make your donation. She taking from $1 upward. Even if you have, you know, if you have them in coins, go ahead and make your donation. It will, you know, going towards a worthy cause. Cornetta.
The only way to eradicate ignorance is to educate yourself.
And the goal is how much?
Well, the goal I had put at 10,000, but a very good friend of mine, I didn't realize it says 10 million, and he said, you know what, whatever you put out there is a reason why the universe lets you put it, leave it alone.
Okay.
So I'm just going to leave it, because he's like, what can you really do with 10,000? That's what you spend on your workshop every year. And he's right. So The goal is to get the 10 million, build a school, get the school started, get the students in, right? I already did the part of getting the land. And I'm in the process of buying the other pieces of land that's adjacent to it. So there is enough,
And do me a favor. I want you to do me a big favor. Make sure you stress it that they know it is a non-profitable organization you're running.
It is.
Yeah,
let
them know. Okay?
Yeah.
Stress that to them. It's nothing is going into your pocket.
Oh, nothing is going into my pocket.
Yeah. Just let them know that now, because it's good to let them know.
Nothing is going into my pocket at all. It's a non-profit. You will get tax write-off. And so for that, I appreciate everything that, that can be donated, even if it's 10 cents. Normally, I would do a Father's Day conference every year, but because of COVID, that was canceled. Because I also believe in educating our men.
I forgot.
Right? Because I want...
Yes, but you saw everything quiet about the men. You saw them keep it low key. I forgot.
Because men are very vital in the woman's life. And the thing is that men don't get the credit that they're supposed to, because women are the one who create the way a man thinks, and men creates the way a woman thinks. So it's like, what comes first, the chicken or the eggs, right?
If I
it's circular.
If I was close by to you, I'd grab you and kiss you.
It's circular.
Honestly, because you just make men feel happy this morning. You just wake up with this morning, man. That's good. That's true. That's true.
It's very circular. Our life is two parts. The law of duality is very circular.
Okay.
And in order for us to progress, and we as women, we beat down our men because we're frustrated and angry over the choices that we have made. Right? And I'm in no part supporting men who don't hold and stand up to their responsibilities. But I know there are many men who do, and many men who try and attempt, and there's women who prevent them because of their own personal anger. And if we learn to put aside how we're feeling, our own personal feelings, and realize that once you have a child for an individual, that it's no longer about you, but about the well-being of that child, and things will turn out better.
True.
Right?
Absolutely.
Things will turn out better. And so I really commend, because I had a great father in my life, so I could speak on it. I know, because my mother is great too. I have to speak to her every day because my father is no longer around, but I know for a fact that if my father wasn't who he was in my life, I wouldn't be the individual I am today. The things he said to me, the things he have taught me, how I should be treated by a man, and no nonsense. So young ladies in particular need their fathers in their lives. So if you're a young man or a man out there that, haven't spoken to your daughter in a while, yes, men are here to provide financially. You can look it up. That's how it is. That's why they have child support, because it's the old way, right? However, the emotional support is really, really crucial, right? It's really, really crucial in bringing the forefront of a strong woman out. If you look at most strong women in society, they always talk about their relationship with their dad. Right?
That's true, yeah.
Their relationship with their dad. And it's very, very important that we understand that you men deserve, to get your credit for what you have done, the ones who are doing what they need to do. And the ones who are trying, we as women need to stop preventing them from doing their work and being with their children. Right? And so I'm very passionate about that too. That's a big thing for me. Power of a Father's Faith Conference. Next year, I pray to God that I will have my third one, because this year was canceled. However, I'm very, very, very passionate about that. Educating our men on, what is really needed to build up their community. And so for all you fathers out there, I want to wish you all a happy Father's Day. And don't get discouraged when you get knocked down for doing what you truly believe that you should. Don't stop. Because always remember your child is getting older. They're not getting younger.
True.
And you will be able to explain to them what is what in due time, right? A good friend of mine, of ours, always say a broken clock is correct 2 times out of the day. So what goes around comes around, and once you're doing what is right, the universe will give you what you deserve.
Absolutely.
And so on that note, I just want to say, please educate to eradicate ignorance, and that's my full belief. It don't stop with young kids. It don't stop with teenagers. It goes beyond, because I believe that education is the key to changing everything that is happening right now.
Absolutely. And I'm going to play my part. We're going to play our part here at the Real Stuff podcast and make it spread to all our listeners, all our subscribers, so that they can start supporting it, okay?
I appreciate you guys so much. I really do.
Absolutely. We're here to help. That's what we're here for.
Thank
We're here
you
to
so
help.
much.
Thank you.
So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
We thank you for being here, for giving us the good information, the good news, everything. And so whenever we need you again, we're going to call upon you, okay?
All right, thank you. You are always welcome to call upon me.
All right. Take care of yourself and your family and your loved ones, all right?
All right, have a great one. And happy Father's Day to you guys again.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right.
Welcome, my listeners. You're listening to the Real Stuff podcast, and this morning our second guest is none other than Dr. Pauline E. Wallner, speaker, author, facilitator, instructor, and action learning coach. Is the managing director of NMWB Global Management Services. She is the author of the Rising Stronger series. She brings the audience alive with innovative, artistic, and vivid presentations of organizational and behavioral challenges in order to stimulate solutions-oriented environments. She has first-hand knowledge of global cultures and competencies, having lived, worked, thought, traveled, or facilitate seminars worldwide and the Caribbean, North and Central Americas, Asia, Israel, European Union, and the United Kingdom. Welcome, Dr. Pauline.
Welcome, thank you for having me. I'm humbled.
I'm glad you're
by
here.
Your invitation. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So the part that really hit me when them say you're a facilitator.
Mm-hmm.
What what is it do you facilitate as well?
Okay, so I'm from Jamaica, Kingston, Jamaica, born under the clock. I came to the United States. I left Jamaica in 1990, and I lived in Canada for a very short time. And then I came back to the U.S., having gone back to Jamaica to leave my son. My book will tell you that. I came back to the U.S. about 30 years ago. And so I worked in various capacities. You know how we laugh at ourselves for having so many jobs as Jamaicans when we are immigrants in a new country.
True.
And so I worked in a corporate environment in addition to a lot of other career paths. Don't ask. And as such, I fell in love with total quality management when I worked in a corporate environment. I liked what I saw. I liked the transformation of organizational cultures. I liked companies that looked at the values of the organization and established those values in such a way that employees want to work there. They'll roll up their sleeves and they'll do whatever it is that they have to do to get the work done. And they do that in a respectful and a very trustful environment. So having seen that in the corporate environment, when I left that organization, I started my own practice. And I've been doing that ever since. So I've been doing that for 20 years. And that takes me, I believe I've gone to all the United States, except for about maybe 6 or 7. And I've actually worked in many of the different states. So I've worked with larger training entities as an independent contractor. And I have provided and developed training seminars in leadership and customer service and strategic planning and performance management and quality action, process improvement, project management, etc., to various groups in various organizations around the world. I do work with the government entities as well as private sector entities and nonprofits as well.
Oh, that's good.
So that's what it is to facilitate. So part of the action learning coaching that I do is to ask more questions and provide answers. So I work with teams, global teams. So, for example, one project could start in Japan. And I'll work with a global team of 13 mid-level or a senior level executives. And we will start the process there. And every 2 months or so, we'll go to a different country. And we'll tour their factories or tour their suppliers' factories or their vendor factories. We'll listen to administrative deliveries from their senior teams. And the whole idea is for them to identify gaps in what the company is proposing as a strategy and what they can actually accomplish given the resources that they have. So those are some of the things that I've been involved in. And it has been very, very rewarding in terms of watching and observing people grow, you know, from the beginning of a project and then 10 months later to see that they have actually graduated from the project. They've actually worked in a diverse environment. You have 13 people, sometimes from 10 different countries. Some of them speak different languages. They look different, but they have one common purpose. And the common purpose is to complete the assignment that has been given to them by their board of directors. And so they get to know each other. They're building global networks, and they have an opportunity to learn something new. And they learn about various cultures, and then learn how to coexist in different cultures. And they learn how to overcome barriers. And they learn how to set aside their assumptions that they make about people and set aside their preconceived notions about different cultures and learn firsthand. So what they're actually learning as we travel around the globe in 10 months is that you cannot make this up, what you're learning, and you cannot learn it from a book. The actual experience is more rewarding than anything else. And so those are some of the things I've been involved in.
Okay. Tell me something about the Rising Stronger series. What is your book?
Yes. So
okay.
for about 10 or 11 years, I have this story in my mind, walking around with this story in my head. I want to write a book. I kept saying, I want to write a book. And I actually wanted to do it before I completed my dissertation 12 years ago. And for some reason, I just couldn't. Every time I started, I would stop. I would just vacate it. And I'd reach page 10. Perhaps I have about 10 page 10s on different computers in my lifetime. And so something was holding me back, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And I kept telling myself, maybe it's not the right time. However, last year, January, for some reason, business was very slow. So, and it was colder in Atlanta than normal. And so I decided I was going to write a book. So I took my little table and I sat in my bedroom on my sofa on the love seat and I started to write. And once I started that, I couldn't stop.
Okay.
And so I completed the first draft of it in February of 2019, my apologies. And I uploaded it and self-published it on Amazon. So that's Rising Stronger, Living, Loving, and Leading from a Seat of Gratitude. I must tell you, though, that this came after I did a road trip to New York.
Whoa.
And this I sometimes take road trips. I sometimes
That's
just go
good.
somewhere.
That's good. You just drive.
And so what I did was I flew into New York. I have a couple of friends, Anne and Stefan there. And they hosted a New Year's Eve party. And I went there and saw a lot of my classmates from kindergarten and elementary school were there. And as a result of that, it just opened up my imagination and opened up my desire to write and to complete this book. And so visiting family and friends at the beginning of the end and the beginning of the year also helped me to decide that this is now the time to write the book. So I wrote the first book. After completing that book, I realized that I have something good going. The Rising Stronger series was born after I wrote the first book.
Okay.
Because I started looking around at the human condition, looking at what challenges and hurdles people are going through, and recognizing that there is so much to be done in documenting people's challenges, hurdles, successes, and how they have overcome some of those hurdles. And so things will happen in our lives. What's more important is how we deal with it.
True.
And I have a very, very large group of friends who have had, unfortunately, lost children. And I started to ask them if they would be interested in documenting their story around the loss of a child. So I would give them, each of them, an opportunity to write a chapter in the book, in the second book. And they agreed. And for a few months, we collaborated, worked together. They drafted their story and I edited their story. And we placed it in a book called Rising Stronger Series, Loving an Essential Path to Healing After Losing a Child.
Okay. Wow.
So it's 8 powerful stories. I lost a brother many years ago, and I didn't realize how much it affected me until I started writing the story on behalf of my mom.
Oh, really?
That's when I really realized how much it was affecting me, how much his loss had affected me, and how many stories, how the domino effect on his death had on myself and my siblings and everybody else around us. And so by writing the story, by writing a love letter, so to speak, to your child, you have an opportunity of recognizing that you had nothing to do with this child's loss and to figuring out where to go from here. So many of the individuals who wrote the book said that it was comforting for them, said that they realized that the blame game had to stop, that they realized that bringing the family together in unity was more essential for them, because they grieving and collectively was better than trying to do it alone.
Okay.
And so all of those stories were written in that second book, Rising Stronger series, Loving an Essential Path to Healing After Losing a Child. I had no idea that we would have gone through something as dramatic and as traumatic as the COVID-19 have been, the deaths of our young brothers and sisters. In a brutal world, nobody would have seen that we'd have this uprising and so many other the domino effect of all of that. And so many of our young men are dying from heart attacks, from motorcycle accidents, for so many different reasons. And it gives me time to pause and to say, what are the chances of writing this book and publishing it in January of this year, and all of these different events happening? So happenstance, or is coincidence, or is it divine intervention? I don't know. Whatever it is, I sincerely hope that if you are out there and you're listening and you have had such a devastating and traumatic experience as losing a child or a close family member, the stories in the book will console you, where you will find that you're not alone and that this is not permanent. This too shall pass.
That's true. Absolutely right. You have been, during your time of traveling, because you have been to all of the, so many continents, right? And
yes.
I saw.
I haven't been to the African continent yet, though.
Well, that's a lot so far. All of this you have been.
I'd like to go to the African continent.
You get there. Don't worry. Trust me. You get there. You're in Asia, right? In Asia, it's a different language barrier from where you're accustomed to. English. You speak English more fluently than most people in Asia. So how do you conduct these seminars? Workshops. You have a interpreter for you?
No. It's great question. Great question. So the Japanese corporate executives and managers and entry-level managers come up in a school system where they actually learn to speak English in school.
Okay.
However, because language is so unforgiving, if you don't speak it every day, sometimes you don't remember it. So I teach and facilitate and coach in English. And for some of them, it might be a little bit challenging because they have not had a chance to speak English over the years.
Yeah.
However, the learning curve is very short for them. So for many of the individuals that I've worked with. So maybe they did a study, a course 2 months prior to me getting there, just to relearn the language, or they learn as we're going through the process.
Okay.
So by putting them in teams, and since English is the common language that all of them speak, so if I have someone from Thailand or Indonesia or Vietnam or China or India, etc., or the European Union for that matter, if I have someone from there, then by putting them in teams, by working in teams with people from different countries, then they have an opportunity to help each other in developing stronger English-speaking skills. Unfortunately for me, I don't get a chance to learn the language.
That's what I was coming to.
In that environment, that's something I would have to do it on my own.
Okay, that's what I was coming to. What about you?
Yes, I speak Jamaican, and I speak the Queen's English, and I speak American English. However, language is very fascinating, and it helps us to develop listening skills.
Yeah.
So if we listen and we put that with the context that we're in, we're better able to discern some of what is being said, even though we don't speak a language. Right? So if you listen well and you listen to the body language, if you listen to the tone of voice that's being used, if you read the facial expressions, sometimes you can get the gist of what is being said. And I learned that many years ago visiting Sweden. I was a Rotarian, and I was in a Rotary meeting in Sweden. And there was a gentleman who introduced himself, and he spoke the Swedish language, of course.
Yeah.
And I was able to translate what he said, even though I don't speak the language, because of his body language.
Are you kidding
so
me?
that's so essential.
Really?
As well. I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. Because of his body language, I got the gist of what he was saying. And so somebody said, "Oh, you know the language." I said, No. Read the body language, and you'll be able to figure out some of what he said.
That ever happened to you yet, Flavius? That ever happened to you yet?
Oh yeah. A number of times. You can always get it's not very hard to do.
Okay.
But you have to decide to quit. Yeah, the body language tells you a lot.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I've never
observed. It's not just
observed.
verbal. It's not just listening to what is being said verbally.
I'm going to be more observant.
You have to work with Franco. You have to work with the face emotions. You have to work with the use of hands.
Yeah, I know about the hand gestures and things, but by the body language.
So if somebody puts up, if somebody
tells you all. Yeah, man, the face tells you all.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. So if somebody puts up his or her hand and as if playing a guitar, what do you determine from that? I play the guitar.
Oh,
I like to play the guitar.
I like music. Yeah.
Or I like music. Yes, especially playing the guitar.
Yeah.
That's good. That is good. I must start being more observant now.
Yes, it's good part of the communication process as well.
Yeah,
a very good part of the communication process.
A lot of people like to use their hands. Somebody put up two hands and they're creating like a screen, so you can understand saying what they're doing.
Yep. So if you think about the sign language.
Yeah.
Yes, the sign language. Think about the sign language, right? Think about how people communicate using signs. Yeah, it's the hands that they're using and the facial expression and the body that they're using to sway and tell you what it is that they're communicating.
I have a text question for you. I have a text question.
You have a what?
A text question.
Okay.
Somebody text me. For your Rising Stronger series, any plan on turning any into like short movies or play?
Listen, I am putting it out there. Thank you so much for that question, listener. I'm putting it out there. It would be wonderful to be able to do that. So if anybody is out there listening and would like to approach me about such an endeavor, I would be very happy to and open to it. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And so
I think they're referring to your Rising Stronger series. Like this, you say you did what? Love letters?
Writing.
So I think it's something like that. But one of the things, you're in Atlanta, right? And they say Atlanta is the new Hollywood, right?
Yes.
That's what some people term it as Atlanta, the new Hollywood, because so many.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so many things is happening now. There's Tyler Perry have his his movie studio there now, and a lot of these R&B artists, they're in Atlanta, living in Atlanta, they perform in Atlanta. So I'm assuming from time to time you would bump into some of these guys, which
I haven't yet.
Okay, but for someone,
I haven't yet.
For someone who wants to reach out to you to conduct like a workshop, how would they reach you?
Well, I'm available. I have an email address. Let me tell you, I have a website first. And let me go back to the previous question, if you don't mind. Let me go back to the previous question.
Go back to it. I chat to them. Go back to it.
So I registered with an organization that was looking for actors and actresses and let me just leave it at that. Actors and actresses, right? And so, so about twice, two to three times, I got a call for a part to audition for a part in a Tyler Perry movie. I'm putting it out there.
Hey.
And so when I got the call, unfortunately, the first time I missed it. I missed the call the first time. The second time, I actually spoke to someone, and he said he wanted me to play a parent, wanted me to audition for a parent on one of the movies, the drama series, one of the series. And I was thrilled by the offer. Unfortunately, I was on my way to Japan the next day. And that was the day that they wanted me to come in for the audition. And I because I'd already made a commitment to the client in Japan, I could not turn it down. So we had a nice little discussion.
Absolutely.
And plans to revisit that invitation again at some other point. It's not come up yet. I suspect I've missed a couple of times again. But nevertheless, I'm still hopeful that one day it will happen. And so I trained with Oliver Samuels many years ago, you know.
Oh, really?
Many years ago, I worked with the Bank of Nova Scotia in Kingston, Jamaica. And Scotiabank encouraged us to have extracurricular activities. And so we started a drama club at the bank. I worked at the data center. And so we started a drama club, and Oliver Samuels was our facilitator. So every Saturday evening around 2:00, he would meet us at the bank, and we would go into our drama classes and our drama lessons.
Okay.
I competed a lot on stage in speech and drama. Got a couple of gold medals as well. Had the pleasure of working with Faye Ellington when she was emceeing various concerts around Kingston. I would be her the woman who would recite Miss Louise Bennett's poem and dialect. Yes, and so I have that background. I've been speaking since I was 5 years old.
No wonder why I'm seeing this in your brief intro. Let's say you bring the audience alive with innovative, artistic, and vivid presentation. So I can imagine that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, and have fun. Having fun is also a huge part
because
of it.
if you're doing these workshops in all of these countries, you have to show them some humor as well.
That's
people
right.
can laugh.
And represent.
Yeah.
And
Understand. So all of these countries and a few continents that you have been, what's your most fun? Fun workshop or experience? Because it said here you lived you worked, and you taught, and you traveled. So
right.
How long have you been, you live in some of these countries?
All right. Well, I've only lived in Jamaica. I lived very, very briefly in Canada. I don't even know if I should count that. And then I'm living here in the U.S. for 30 years. So I've been around for some time. I've been around the block for some time, right? I love living in Jamaica. I love all of the diversity that living in Jamaica brought me. I love the fact that you could, on one day, you could be speaking with someone from India, China. As a matter of fact, one of my first clients, I worked for Facey Commodity Hardware Company Limited. And one of my first clients was a Japanese family who were downtown. They were called Williams. I think their hardware store now is right up on Constant Spring Road, right by the gully. And they were Japanese. And I don't remember the name of the company now, but they're right by Constant Spring Road, right by the bridge, near to West Kings House Road.
Yeah.
Yes, right near there. Yes.
Trying to go to the bridge, yeah.
Yes, and so they're Japanese, and we had such a wonderful, wonderful relationship. Remember earlier I talked to you about happenstance, right?
Yeah.
And so think about it. I'm a young professional, sales professional, working in Facey Commodity. What are the chances I'm going to be dealing with people from all over the world? And so I did. Right there in the beautiful island of Jamaica.
Yeah.
I was working with people from all over the world. And so when I went into Japan for the very first time in 2005, I felt as if I had arrived.
Wow.
I had arrived because I already knew so much about the culture of the Japanese people, having communicated and worked with this client for about 5 years. I worked with Chinese as well in Jamaica. I worked with people from the Middle East in Jamaica. And so that underlying education, I would say, the education of Dr. Wallner, that underlying education was so pivotal for me when I arrived in Japan. So I've been to Japan more than 30 times. That's usually the base. That's
more
where
than 30
I
times.
launch. Yeah, more than 30 times. I stopped counting when I hit 20.
So you lived there then?
And so that's really the base of where I launched the action learning program from with a team of people that I work with. That's where we launch it from. So that's why I go there so often.
Okay.
I've been to Shanghai. I've been to Shanghai once. I've been to Indonesia, Singapore, Thailand, South Korea. Where am I? Am I still in Asia? No, I'm coming out. I've worked in Germany a few times, Italy, and I've traveled around. I've been to Austria. In addition to working in some of these countries, I've actually traveled there as well over the years. So I don't have any one best experience. I have many experiences because when I walk into a training room, the dynamics are different for every group, every encounter. The dynamics are different. And so since I am an A-type personality, I draw from my environment. And the more dynamic or upbeat that environment is, the more I thrive.
Yeah.
However, if the environment is not upbeat, and it's not positive, it's my job
to make it,
recreate that environment so that people can have the very best experience that they can have in a learning environment. I love to create learning labs.
Do you work with your yard music as well?
Of course.
So you can sometimes you have to, draw out some yard music. I say, get up, get up, get up.
Funny you say that. It's funny you say that, because I was working with a client in Japan once, and it was a weekend assignment. I was doing financial management for non-financial managers.
Okay.
And one of the guys sat there, and he said to me, a Japanese guy, he said to me, "You're from Jamaica?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Yellow man."
Come on, reggae is big in Japan. Reggae is big in Japan.
I'm just about to say to her,
Yellow man. I said, "Of course I know Yellow man."
I met some Japanese
and of
ones.
course, so we went into this long conversation about Yellow Man and about Jamaican music and Peter Tosh and Robert Nesta Marley, OD, and so on and so forth. And it just went on and on and on.
And they're very knowledgeable when it comes to the music, Jamaica music.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's also Mighty Crown. Mighty Crown is a Japanese.
Some Japanese sound system.
I've actually worked in their town, in their city. I've actually worked in their city.
Good.
I've actually been to their city, rather. And I've actually gone to the beer factory there. So the Kirin Beer Factory, right in the same city.
I heard about it.
So, yeah.
But my son been there
but
before.
I haven't been there for a while. I haven't been there. I haven't seen them in Japan. I've often looked to see if they're playing there when I'm there, and I'm always missing them.
They're in Jamaica most of the time.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
Let me ask you about this NMWB. What is NMWB Global Management?
All right. Are you familiar with the singer George? Are you familiar with George Nooks?
Yeah, I'm familiar with George Nooks.
Yes. Yes. Wonderful. So Nooks is my maiden name. Nooks is my maiden name. Nooks. That's my maiden name. George Nooks is a part of our family. I've never met him. I communicate with him online. I've never met him. My brothers have met him. His father and my father are cousins.
Okay.
And they were very, very good friends. Right? So N is for Nooks.
Mm-hmm.
M is for Malcolm, and Malcolm is the name of my first husband.
Okay.
Malcolm. So it's Nooks Malcolm. Don't tell him that though. All right. So it's Nooks Malcolm. My name is Wallner, Wallnpr, and my son's name is Blair.
Okay.
And this is the first time I've ever said that acronym on air
So
or in public.
Three men. And you said, got to be three important men
matter.
then.
It's NMWB.
Three important
it's
men.
NMWB. Nooks Malcolm Wallner Blair.
Good. Okay. Because I've
I
been...
developed my business plan in community college. And so when I developed the business plan in community college, it was just to complete my degree, my marketing degree. It was not supposed to be a business or anything. However, here we are, 20 plus years later, and it's NMWB, and it's global because I travel all over the world.
Yeah.
And services because it's consulting, facilitating, action learning, and teaching and instructing whenever I can.
Okay. So you work with small business as well?
Primarily with mid-sized companies and larger entities. I have no objections to working with small businesses, however, in my local community.
Yeah.
Of course, so primarily mid-sized. My experience has been with mid-sized companies as well as larger entities. And once again, I have no problems working with smaller entities.
Actually, to our America classify small business. Small business, they're like saying McDonald's and all them places, they are small business.
Right. If it's a franchise. So if it's a one store franchise, dealerships, those are considered small business. Anything below $25 million, from $1 to $25 million is classified as a small business under the Small Business Association.
Yeah, but they exclude the mom and pops out of it though, because mom and pop stores are small business, but they don't see them as
micro businesses.
Yeah,
so micro businesses.
Not even the banks see them as that no more either.
I'm telling you.
They used to be small business, but nah, they call them mom and pops now.
Yes.
What you saying, Flavius? Were you saying something?
He probably doesn't know his phone's on. Okay.
I think.
So do you?
Okay.
No, he's talking to somebody else. It seemed like.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would definitely. I'm not going to put myself out here, but I'm going to check out the Rising Stronger series books that you have. I got to read them. You know, see what it's all about.
They're available online.
Yeah, because it sits on Amazon, right?
Available online.
At Amazon.
Yeah.
At Amazon, right?
Yes, Amazon. And anywhere books are sold online. And also, what we do as well, we offer, and since COVID now, it's not as possible, but we also offer we also offer retreats and book signings, and we have a book club as well. It's the Rising Stronger Series Book Club.
Oh, that's good.
So if someone purchases the book and they want to come join the book club, it's a private group. If they want to join the book club to discuss the book or to discuss their own stories, etc., they can also do that. So it's a Rising Stronger Book Series, Rising Stronger Series Book Club, and it's on Facebook. It's a Facebook group.
You just toss up a ball right on my cricket bat, no? Since they say you have a book club, so
yes,
have your book club? Have you submitted your books into Oprah's book club?
No, not yet. The plan is there.
All right.
I'm putting it out there as much as I can, and the plan is there.
Yeah.
So Oprah herself says that if you want something and you really want something, you have to put it out there. You have to project it. So Oprah Winfrey, if you're listening, I'd like you to put my book in your book club. And Robin Roberts, if you're listening, I'd like you to put my book in your book club. And Jenna
yes,
Bush,
I just remember Sir Robin.
I'd like you to put my book in your book club.
Yeah, I just remember Sir Robin have a book club. Yeah, you're right.
Yes, and Jenna Bush.
Oh, and Jenna Bush too. I haven't seen Jenna Bush on TV yet, but I've seen Robin recently. And
Yes,
Shada, yeah,
I'm a
Shada.
fan.
Yeah, okay, that's good.
I'm a top fan of Robin Roberts. I
That's
love the
good.
lady.
That's good. That's good.
And so anybody out there, Steve Harvey, if you want to put my book in your book club, you can go ahead and do that too. So I'm putting it out there. Oprah says to put it out there.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Utilize the platform.
That's right.
Utilize the platform. Utilize the platform. Well, is there anything else you have to tell?
A shout out.
Go ahead, make your shout out. You can do it,
I
yeah.
want to send a shout out. So I want to send a shout out to the gentleman who sings One Blood.
Junior Reed.
I met Junior Reed many years ago at the gym at the foot of Red Hills. He was a young man, and at the time he was hanging out with Hugh. I think it's Hugh. Hugh, he died. He was killed a few years after, a couple of years later. And he was hanging out with him. And at the time, he wasn't very popular. He had not, as we say in Jamaica, he never broke out yet.
Yeah, he never boss. He never boss yet.
Never boss yet, right. So never boss yet. And I tell you, I have, since then, I have observed how he has commanded his business and so on and so forth. And I just want to send a shout out to Junior Reed and his One Blood movement. Just recognizing that in this kind of environment that we're facing here in the U.S. and around the world, we have to remember something. It's one blood.
Yep.
One blood. No matter how we look, no matter where we come from, no matter where we're born. I was born in Kingston, Jamaica, in the ghetto. No matter where we come from, no matter where we go, no matter how much money we have or don't have, it's one blood.
Yeah, man.
No matter how much race, what race we define ourselves in, no matter who we think we are or not, it's one blood.
Yeah, man.
That's my shout out this morning. It's one blood.
One
blood.
One
and
blood.
one love. One love. And one blood, one love.
Cho. Flavius, any question? You have any question for Pauline, Dr. Pauline?
No, it's no questions really, but I really like, our vibe and respect one blood thing. Because we need to, we need to know that we are one. I remember I'm always saying, like, Caribbean people are one people. We have to understand these things. We can't just go around put yourself in these little pockets. I am this, I am that, When that is not the reality. That is just not the reality. Yeah.
That's right. So shouting out. Faye Allenson, I hope you're doing well. And Rosemary Murray, I hope you're doing well. We still have to catch up, my friends. The Sandra Gordon Somers in Kingston, Jamaica, I want to send hello to you. And your mom, Aunt Pat, my mother, Shirley Nooks, and the tribe, Angela, my sister, and Andrew, my brother. So shout out to Kingston, Jamaica, and everybody around the world who has touched my life in immeasurable ways. And I want to thank the host of Real Stuff. For having me on and for really getting me to recognize that I have something to offer and something to share. Sometimes when you get too busy, you feel as if you're in a bubble and you're not quite sure, what direction you should turn into. These are tough times. This COVID time is tough times. A lot of people out there that are not as emotionally stable as they should be. And I want to reach out to these people right now and tell them that it's not permanent. It's not permanent. It's only a little bump in the wheel of life. And if you think about it, if you think about how many things you have gone through, I've gone through Gilbert, 1988 in Kingston, Jamaica, the roof blew off. I've gone through, like many others, the 911 tragedy with no work, where I had to turn to waitressing to earn $1. I've gone through the depression in recent times where I thought I was going to be homeless.
I mean,
And now
2008.
we're
We
dealing
ain't
with
get hit
this once
2008.
again, right?
2008
right.
was a
And
big
now
one. Yep.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And now we're dealing with this pandemic and this racial attention is what I'd like to call it. This
telling you.
racial upheaval, this truth-seeking passage in our lives,
Mhm.
where we have to stop and look at our own self, examine ourselves from inside out, and whatever is in us that is not of the mighty one,
Mhm.
not of God, however you define God, then we have to stop, turn around, and change our lives before we can change anybody else's.
True.
We can't change people, we can only change ourselves.
Mhm.
And when we are pointing the finger outward, we need to know where that finger needs to be pointed. And every man, every woman, every boy, every child has to be accountable for his or her own behavior.
Mhm.
Stop killing our young people on any side. Look to the good and focus on the good. Focus on the good.
Thank you for
I
those
find
encouraging
that
words, Dr. Pauline.
I find that COVID is a very, very serious teaching moment.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of stuff
Absolutely.
we need. I'm hoping that we have really taken time to learn some of these things.
Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
if we decide to go back to where we were, I mean, everything, all the sacrifice and everything would have been gone for nothing.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. We have to be so mindful. And a lot of people are not in positions to help themselves at the moment. I don't know about anybody else. My work life stopped when they said shut it down.
Mhm.
And like so many millions and billions of people around the world, our lives stopped. Some of us were able to continue to work depending on where you were. But no matter what you think you have or you don't have, there are still people out there who are less fortunate. Remember your elementary school.
True.
And I'm speaking to the diaspora right now. Remember your elementary schools. Remember your high schools back in Jamaica.
Mhm.
Remember that they need help. Remember some of the children didn't eat lunch if they were not in school. They didn't eat a good meal if they weren't in school.
Mhm.
So remember those families as well. And to the extent that you can, reach out to the diaspora. There are local entities, local organizations that you can tap into. Ask them what they're doing and how you can help. If it's even $10, as Cornetta Murray talked about earlier, if it's even $10, whatever it is that you can give or you can help in whatever way you can help, whether it's to tutor a child, mentor a child, whatever you can do, help, because it's well needed. All right? And families, no matter where you are, whether you're in Jamaica, you're in America, you're around the world, treat each other well. Stop fighting among each other, not because you're stuck indoors. It means that you have to argue and fight all the time. Set that aside and recognize that you have an opportunity to love on each other right now and to speak kindly into each other's lives, because that's what's going to make this world a better place in the long run.
You're so
That's
right.
what's going to make this world a better place in the long run. Each of us must do our part. Each one teaches one. Each of us must do our part to contribute to a better society worldwide.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pauline. That is so inspiring.
Thank you so much
so
for
inspiring.
having me.
Yeah. We thank you for
Thank you
taking
for
time out of your busy schedule and for being here with us. And we're looking forward to talk to you again, have you on your program. Our platform is your platform as well. So
thank you. Thank you very much.
You have anything to pump? Yes. Whenever you have anything to pump, make sure you give us a call.
Yes.
And we certainly give you a lending hand.
Thank you so much. Remember, everyone, risingstrongerseries.com. You may find my information on www.risingstrongerseries.com. That's where you'll find information about various events, the books, anything that we have to sell, we'll put it online. And of course, our services are training and development, as well as coaching, as well as a retreat. And we'll be doing our book signing as soon as we get rid of Miss Corona. Thank you. Take care, everybody.
All right.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Pauline. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes.
Have a great day.
You too.
Bye
you
now.
too. Bye. Wonderful. So, Flavius, we're going to hit them up with this song, It's All Right, from Wayne Harman, because everything is going to be all right. Remember that.
Yes.
It's alright, it's okay. Just hang on a little bit longer, cause tomorrow is another day. It's alright, it's okay. Just stand firm in the face of adversity and watch them fade away, 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 away. Life of a wave will carry you down when the money in the bank gets shorter and the bills are coming and you're caught in between the devil and the deep blue water. I know, say that when you come home my yard and the people them I look them sober. So you do what you can, cause a man is just a man, and you don't make the people them sober. And you pray to the Father when this tribulation I go in, but remember Jonah in the belly of the whale and Daniel in the lion's den. It's alright, it's okay. Just hang on a little bit longer, cause tomorrow is another day. It's alright, it's okay. Just stand firm in the face of adversity and watch them fade away, 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 away. I say time of a wait to test your faith, so you got to have enough endurance. One day at a time, just keep on trying, cause time carry no insurance. No matter how the situation hard, things can only get better. Just have some faith, everything I go great, cause nothing never lasts forever. And you pray to the Father when this tribulation I go in, but remember Jonah in the belly of the whale and Daniel in the lion's den. It's alright, it's okay. Just hang on a little bit longer, cause tomorrow is another day. It's alright, it's okay. Just stand firm in the face of adversity and watch them fade away, 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 away. It's alright, it's okay. Just hang on a little bit longer, cause tomorrow is another day. It's alright, it's okay. Just stand firm in the face of adversity and watch them fade away.
A Jamaica this? Me can't believe a Jamaica. Jano Star. How about I am? And when Jamaica reach your son? Oh my God now. Oh my God now. Oh my God now. Oh my God now. Oh my God, you know, she said Jamaica get mad. Now you're rougher than over Baghdad. Oh my God, you know, she said me country get mad. Man I get scam, man I get robbed. Oh my God, you know, she said Jamaica get mad. Now you're rougher than over Baghdad. Oh my God, you know, she said me country get mad. Gun in a truck and in a car and bag. Politician and security, there is some questions. Which part the guns come from?
Yes. Flavius.
Yes, I'm here.
You know it's that time again.
Yeah, but I just want to say, the song by Wayne Harman, It's All Right.
Mm-hmm.
really a really tough song. You know? Really, if you listen to it carefully,
Yep.
it's really, really powerful song. Very powerful.
That's so true.
Yeah?
Well, it's time for us to get out a year because I have some stuff to do today.
Me too, well.
But before I
But
leave,
you know that we have a lot of work to do.
yeah, before I leave, I want to say something to my Floridians. Hold on, now. I want to say something to my Floridians before I get out a year. And it's about the eye rising virus. And a lot of people think this is a joke thing. You understand me? 3 states them say, but it's 20 states so far. I've seen the increase of the spike, whatever they call it. Arizona, Texas, and Florida see the highest 1 day increase in new cases. Now, some of these people who are hitting the road don't want to wear their face mask, especially when they go into people's business. Some of them even want to fight the proprietors them because they're saying, "Oh, this is a hoax and rare." And they goodly them same one at the carrier, you know.
Yeah.
Seeing goodly them same one as the carrier. Now, also, a lot of people figure say, "Oh, when it gets summer and the time I go hot, it'll go kill the virus." Don't believe that. Because first when this thing came out, they said it's not affecting the black race. It's just affecting the white and black people. Figure so, whoa, it was a big independence celebration for them. So them run out on the street only to find out that the ratio of underlying people who died are African American or black. Me I gotta say black. Me not say African American or black people. Simple as that, guys. Them feared for the word black, you know. So black people, beware on yourself. People want to go do the shopping, wear on a face mask. Because this thing, we know it's a man-made germs. Right? But them not telling us. And don't think because of the different season, one season in particular, it might be different. It's a joke. The summer is not going to make it better at all because it's rising. We're in the summer now. And some states are experiencing a high in new cases. And a state like Arizona, that's a hot state. Texas is hot as well. And Florida is a 3 hot state that's in a coach. The sun shine on Paris like say boy we'll stand up right under it. And then it come in like the way how the sun is on us. Saying, listen me man, be careful. That's all I can tell you. Be careful. And if you see a man a walk and him not have on a face mask and you have on yours, even go across the street if you can. Move away from him. You understand me? Because some of them same people they are the carrier.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead then, before we get out of here.
Yeah, well, folks, it's all about keeping safe with Corona. We try and do what we have to do. We have to work, but make sure everything is in place. Very, very important that everything is in place for you to keep safe and keep your family safe. Because you really don't want to go there and want something for your family.
True.
You know, reach to the door, the kids running up to you and all that. So we have to be very. I mean, there will come a time when this is gone, but that's not time hasn't come yet.
Yep.
And I must take this opportunity to remind people that next week, Tuesday, the Charlestown Maroon Council, they're having their annual Quaw Day celebration. But because of COVID-19, this will be this year for the first time a virtual celebration. So it's Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Jamaican time. And it's going to be great. Come and enjoy yourself. Drumming and dancing, panel discussion, poetry, other music. It's going to be very good. So I'm inviting you to join us on Tuesday, 23rd of June. Charlestown Maroon Quao Day celebration. The Ancestor Quao. So that's for next week, Tuesday. And as always, we always remind you that the only thing that seems to work now is social distancing and wearing your mask. So do your best to keep out of the reach of other people. Keep out of the droplets. And don't have your droplets all over the place either.
True.
So be careful. That's the buzzword now, is to be careful, because we are opening up, so there are more opportunities for the virus to spread. And do not go on the road or anywhere unless you have to. When you finish your work, you go back home, make sure everything all the protocol is being followed. They say you must go home and take off your clothes and have a shower, wash your clothes, things like that. You do not want to take it home. You don't want it in your body, full stop. So we have to do everything to prevent it as best we can. So until tomorrow, today, between today and tomorrow will be very exciting, because the English League it will start back today. And our man in England, Don, will be here tomorrow.
Now.
Yeah, it will give us all the lowdown.
Mm-hmm.
So look forward to the reviews of the opening of football in England. If you can watch the games now, you can try to find it and watch it. But we will be giving you an in-depth live from London in tomorrow's show. And don't forget part 2 of Miss Audrey Hall comes your way on Friday.
Yeah. More about Michelle.
Oh yes.
Well, as always, take care of yourself, your loved ones, and always remember that prayer do changes things regardless of what religion you belong to. You must pray. So continue to pray. This is Franco, along with Flavius, wishing you all the best.
Well, unfortunately, this is it. Till next time. Bless.
All you gotta do is just speak. One word is enough, and I'm no longer so rough. I forget what I was trying to say. I no longer do what I was gonna do, but you're no good for me. That's why me know what set me if it could flee. Me I fi take away me say. Me I fi take away me say. Me I fi hide like a thief in the night. Me I fi get out the side. Me I fi take away me self. I fi take away myself. I have to utilize I weeds. Shorty I leave where I ease. I said, yeah, I find you very hard to resist. With this relationship I'm gonna desist. Soon you're gonna feel the light of day. Just relax, don't move an inch. I'll be gone in a pinch. May I feel take away myself. May I feel take away myself. May I feel eye like a thief in the night. May I forget out of sight. May I feel take away myself. Take away myself. I have to utilize I breathe. Show the eye a clean pair of heels. I say, been there, done that, don't need it again, yeah. I'm not the master, guess who won't play your game, yeah. To all you move, you off me way to the core. Sayonara, hot girl gone through the door. Take away ourselves. Ah,
Well, unfortunately, this is it. Till next time. Bless. Well, unfortunately, this is it. Till next time. Bless.